Good evening and welcome. You're watching Left, Right and Centre. I'm Nidhi Razdan and our main focus tonight, a day after the Supreme Court has commuted the death sentence of Rajiv Gandhi's assassins, Tamil Nadu's Chief Minister Jayalalithaa has announced that her government will allow the killers to walk free within 3 days. Does the Tamil Nadu government's decision smack of cynical politics? Should the assassins of a former Prime Minister be allowed to walk free? That's our big debate tonight. And coming to the details of that story, 23 years after they were jailed, the Tamil Nadu government today decided to set free within 3 days all 7 convicts in the Rajiv Gandhi assassination case after the Supreme Court commuted the death penalty of 3 of them. Chief Minister Jayalalithaa announced the decision this morning, and while she is required to get the centre's go-ahead to do this, she has threatened to release them anyway, with or without the centre's approval. However, top government sources here in Delhi have told NDTV that the assassins of a Prime Minister cannot be let off, that the Jayalalithaa government does need the centre's approval, although legal experts say there is a grey area about whether the state government can release those assassins without the centre's approval and go ahead anyway, as the Chief Minister of Tamil Nadu has threatened to do. My colleague Sunil Prabhu joins us with the latest on that developing story. Sunil, it's clear that this is now going to turn into a clash between the Tamil Nadu government and the centre, but politically it's a great move for Jayalalithaa either way.
Well, Jayalalithaa wanted to expose to a great extent the Congress's position, because here at one stage they're trying to ally with the DMK, and the DMK has been in the forefront of asking for these assassins to be released. So she really wanted to put the ball in the centre's court, and as you rightly put it, the top law enforcement agency out here, the Home Ministry, as well as the Prime Minister's office, have been seized of the matter. They are awaiting that letter, which has officially not been received by the government of India, but nevertheless they are quite clear. One, when Rajiv Gandhi was killed, it was the CBI which investigated. They were charged under TADA, and if they have to be released, this is clearly under the Code of Criminal Procedure Code in the concurrent list and requires the centre's clearance, and there is no way that they can ever release the assassins of a former Prime Minister, because they have really changed the face of this nation to a great extent with the killing of Rajiv Gandhi, and they feel that it sends a very wrong signal. So they are quite categorical about it. They say there's no politics in this, but we have to be very firm on our position. And of course, Jayalalithaa, as you rightly said, is looking towards the larger picture of Tamil Nadu politics, of elections that are drawing coming to a close in early April and May, and that's the reason why she's looking at it in a position of taking the Congress and the DMK head on.
And perhaps that is something that everyone needs to take notice of, the fact that politically it's not just Jayalalithaa but other political parties that have played very cynical politics with death row convicts. But here we are talking about those convicted for killing the former Prime Minister of this country, and I think therefore that raises very serious questions. And in fact, Rahul Gandhi has reacted to this announcement by Jayalalithaa today by saying that he's sad that the killers of his father could walk away and just go out of jail just like that. There have also been strong reactions from the Congress party that have called it a perverse and populist decision. The BJP too has expressed its concerns, while Tamil parties have welcomed the move.
दुख है, मेरे पिता वापस नहीं आएंगे, दुख नहीं है, तो मुझे क्या लगा? मुझे लगा कि अगर इस देश में प्रधानमंत्री को न्याय नहीं मिलेगा तो गरीब व्यक्ति को न्याय कभी नहीं मिल सकता.
இந்த தகவலை மேற்கண்ட கைதிகளுக்கு தெரியப்படுத்துமாறு தமிழக அரசை கேட்டுக்கொண்டது. இதன் அடிப்படையில் இந்த கடிதத்தின் விவரம் சம்பந்தப்பட்ட கைதிகளுக்கு தெரிவிக்கப்பட்டது.
நான் எதிர்பார்த்தபடி மகிழ்ச்சி அடைவேன்.
Well, I can't say I'm unhappy that 3 people have been sentenced to life rather than sentenced to death. If that's the decision of the Supreme Court, I'm neither happy nor unhappy.
Well, does this decision by Jayalalithaa smack of cynical politics? Does it set a dangerous precedent, or is it humanitarian, as Tamil parties and human rights activists have been calling it, since those who have been convicted for Rajiv Gandhi's assassination have spent 23 years in jail already, and many say technically do qualify to be out of jail now. Joining us tonight, Vikas Singh, the former Additional Solicitor General of India. We have Sanjay Jha, spokesperson of the Congress, Professor Mehboob Beg, Lok Sabha MP of the National Conference. We also have with us Mr. D. Raja, National Secretary of the CPI, and will be joined by other panelists shortly. But let me ask Mr. Vikas Singh first, what is the legal position here? Can Jayalalithaa release these assassins even if the centre says no?
Well, according to me, if you analyze section 432, under which the power of remission is vested in the appropriate government, it very clearly defines appropriate government to mean that government where the entry with regard to the conviction has taken place, if it is traceable to the union list, that it is only the central government. Now, in the case of these convicts, there were several offences under the union list under which they were convicted. For instance, the Telegraph Act, the Passport Act. So, under those acts, if you are convicted, the sanction for remission can only be done by the central government. Now, the conviction is, one conviction. They don't say how much sentence in which and how much in the other. So, they confirm as a death sentence, but they say you are convicted under all these offences. The moment there is a central offence or an offence which can be relatable to the union list, then in my view, state government has no power to grant remission.
Because I'll just quote to you what Jayalalithaa said on record today. She said if there's no reply within 3 days from the centre, the state government will release all the 7 under CRPC section 432 in accordance with the powers vested with it.
Yeah, that's politics, because she doesn't have the power to do it. She's trying to put the ball in the centre's court by saying that if centre doesn't do it, but according to me, if centre was supposed to do nothing in 3 days, still she doesn't have the power to release them. That's the legal position. It's the centre's decision to release.
So you're saying she can't release them?
She can't release them.
Okay, that is the position.
Of course, it's a different matter that if the jail were to ultimately release them, somebody will have to go to court and say that this is wrong or get an order before they're actually released. But the legal position is that this release should not take place till the centre approves this release, or rather till the centre decides to release. It's not a case where you take a decision at that level and ask for the centre's approval. It's a case where the centre has to decide to release.
Okay, let me
So she is doing politics. That's really politics.
Let me take that to Mr. D. Raja, who is a Rajya Sabha MP, National Secretary of the CPI, leading politician from the state of Tamil Nadu. Mr. Raja, there are many concerns today, even by those who oppose the death penalty in this country, that the message that goes out by setting free the killers of a former Prime Minister of this country is a very wrong message. Mr. Raja, what would you say to that? To even those, like I said, who do not believe in the death penalty but who believe that this is wrong, such as Rahul Gandhi, whose father was the one who was killed?
Firstly, this is not sinister politics as somebody tries to project it. It is sincere, honest, humanitarian politics. Supreme Court itself has admitted there was inordinate delay in disposing of mercy petitions of these convicts. They already served more than almost 22 years in prison. They were in prison. And the Criminal Procedure Code, with my small knowledge of jurisprudence, I am not an expert like the previous panelists who spoke. The section 432, 432A empowers the state to review the death sentence given to the convicts who have served already 14 years, and that empowers the state. Here the Supreme Court has given an opening to the state government to go ahead. If they want to release, they can release. And as far as centre is concerned, even the 435, section 435 of Criminal Procedure Code, which I understand that centre can be or has to be consulted. What is the meaning of consultation? If centre says yes, one can do, or the centre says no, one should not do, what is the meaning of consultation? That is the grey area the legal experts are discussing. But my point is very simple.
You don't think it's
They were
sinister
in prison
politics?
For about... No, I don't agree at all. Don't say it is a sinister politics. And it is not an election issue. Because there are elections...
Then
so
what
the state
explains
government does
Jayalalitha's
it.
hurry to
Don't-
do it the
don't
day after the
undermine-
Supreme
don't
Court ruling?
undermine
She
the
didn't even
state
sit on
government.
it for a week. She just announced it the next morning. What was the hurry?
Yes, so what is wrong in it? Then you should understand. There was, the issue is in Tamil Nadu, and the mother of one of the convicts has been running from pillar to post, Arpudam Ammal. She met the Prime Minister also today morning. She was in tears, she was crying, and the mother even today claims her son is innocent. So one should understand
Mr. Raja,
the
but Mr.
agony
Raja, the point is
of,
there are
people.
also. I'll just take this to Sanjay Jha. The point is there were 14 other people who were killed along with Rajiv Gandhi that night, and the people who were convicted then for the assassination have also been convicted for the murders of those other people. There are many families today, Mr. Raja, who don't think this is fair. Their tears are also there for us to see. Sanjay Jha, we've seen very strong words there from Rahul Gandhi. We've seen very strong words there from the Congress party, calling this a perverse and a populist decision. And yet we also have Mr. Chidambaram, who in an interview to NDTV today had a slightly softer line, maybe because he's a politician from Tamil Nadu. He said the Tamil Nadu government's decision doesn't make him happy or unhappy, but you know, if they walk free, they would walk free after 22 years. So that's it. It would be the court's decision. There is a contradiction then there even within your top leadership.
Nidhi, I don't think so. In fact, let me answer your question by first telling you it's a national shame. It is. This was an international conspiracy. It was planned. It was diabolical. It was unfortunately successful in assassinating India's Prime Minister. And, you know, end of day, it was a terror attack. It was a terror attack, as you rightly said, when India lost a young former Prime Minister, and several other innocent lives were lost in Tamil Nadu at Sri Perumbudur. Now, the question that, that you asked on Mr. Chidambaram's response to, I think, Barkha, he was responding to the fact that if you look at the Supreme Court verdict, the Supreme Court only commuted the death sentence and made it into life imprisonment. So he was commenting on that. Now, I think that the real German issue, which we ourselves accept, if that's a Supreme Court verdict, well, it has to be honored even if you disagree with it. I think that's what Mr. Kapil Sibal has been saying right from the very beginning. But the big point here is that you have a party, and you rightly raised that question, Nidhi, that is in such a great hurry. And as an expert on your panel said before, in a gray area, you don't try and take a confrontationist attitude and actually send out some kind of an ultimatum and say that we'll release people who are responsible for assassinating the former Prime Minister of India. I think this is the kind of message, if that goes out to the world, that, if this is the federal polity of India, where a state government is actually going to defy the center, not even aware that the laws could be nebulous, it could have consulted perhaps, even if there are human rights issues, it can be debated. But the truth of life is that the Congress party is, I think, shocked, and we are stunned, and we condemn this. We condemn this as a very pedestrian level of politics which is being played out. I think Mr. Rahul Gandhi has got, if you heard Rahul Gandhi's statement today, he spoke not just like a son, but as a very mature leader. He said, I cannot get my father back. I'm against death penalty. But if this is the kind, if you're going to let the killers of Mr. Rajiv Gandhi free, I think we are sending an extremely,
I'm going to take this to Mr. Mehboob Beg of the National Conference, because I want to widen this debate to the fact that, Mr. Beg, every political or many political parties in this country have played some very dangerous politics when it comes to convicts on death row. Whether it is the Tamil parties who have done this in the case of Rajiv Gandhi's killers, you have the Akali Dal that's doing it in Punjab with other convicts there. The same thing happened with Afzal Guru. Of course, many would say the tragedy is, as your party would have said, the PDP would have said, and even Afzal Guru's family has said, that he didn't get this when his mercy petition was pending for years and years, and he ended up being executed, many would say also, for political reasons. It's actually scary that even executions are now done for political reasons. Mr. Beg.
Absolutely, Nidhi. This is the most shocking thing that could have happened. Now, I represent people of Kashmir in the parliament. We are living in one country. Come on, Nidhi, tell me, and I ask all the panelists who are around, what am I going to tell them? You have Afzal Guru convicted and he was sent to gallows. He was picked up from the queue and in a hurry he was sent to gallows. And entire country, his family members, his wife, his child, little small child came to know after he was executed. That's what happened to Afzal Guru. Now you have Rajwana, who killed Chief Minister of the state, who is eager to go to gallows. Come on, help me out. Who is keen to go to gallows. And the Punjab government, BJP is in partnership with Akali Dal government there. The ultra-nationalist BJP, they come down to Delhi and stop his execution and succeed in that. Now, here you go. We lost Prime Minister. We lost many lives there. And now his assassins, two of them Sri Lankans, not even Indians. And Supreme Court says commutes their death sentence into life imprisonment. I want to raise a question here again, and we have legal luminary here. I don't know the law. And you introduced me as professor. I am not even professor. I am Dr. Mahbub Beg. Anyway, any law, when Supreme Court comes to a judgment, it has to be, it can't be retrospective. It has to be prospective. It cannot be retrospective. But here he does it. Here the court does it. Anyway, so far my knowledge was that it was for the president to take decisions unmercifully, and the constitution doesn't give any frame time. Yes, it should be. It should be done.
That is what the court has now
it should be
argued
done as
against,
quickly as possible. Yes, it should be done as quick. But why? Living in one country, we have double standards. Why don't we cry?
Okay,
for
I'm going to take that
Guru?
to the BJP first before I come to Meena. Aman Sinha, firstly, on the issue that is at hand before us today, does the BJP condemn what Jayalalithaa has said? Because there doesn't seem to have been a strong enough condemnation of this as there has been from the Congress.
Nidhi, this is a serious issue, and it should be given all the seriousness that it deserves, and it should be dealt in that manner. Now, we have been seeing that Congress party leaders have been making statements on this issue from time to time. Earlier, Sonia Gandhi and Priyanka Gandhi wanted the death sentences to be commuted. Now, Rahul Gandhi makes his public statement that he is deeply saddened and all that. I don't know why, when there is a legal process, established legal procedure in place, why doesn't the Congress party, allow it to function properly? And obviously, that issue will have to come back to the union government under section 435 of CRPC. And at that point in time, union government would be free to, whatever view that it wants to advise and suggest to the president, it would be free to do so. But these kind of offhand, statements, this is, I think it is not helping out anyone. And I think this is something for Congress party to introspect.
No, but on Jayalalitha's decision itself, on Jayalalitha's announcement, on principle, do you believe that those convicted for killing the former Prime Minister of this country should walk free from jail? Mr. Sinha, does the BJP believe that?
No, we do not at all, Nidhi, we do not at all believe in, this kind of competitive politics. And however, we also have to recognize that there is a judgment of the Supreme Court, which was delivered yesterday, and, this is perhaps the fallout of the judgment that these things are happening. But, this kind of competitive politics is not at all, desirable in our democratic setup. I don't think we still have to formulate a structured view. But let me assure you that BJP is not at all for this kind of competitive politics in such serious issues.
You were very quick to ask for Afzal Guru's hanging, so I'm just wondering why you seem to sound so soft today about Jayalalitha's announcement. Is it because you want to woo her for an alliance after the elections? What explains it? The BJP was so vocal on Afzal Guru and hanging him. Why this different stand on Rajiv Gandhi's assassins?
No, there is no different stand. I think we all have to acknowledge and accept that there is a judgment of the Supreme Court of India which was delivered yesterday, and we all have to accept and abide by that judgment. But at the same time, this kind of, politicking into these serious issues, this is also not welcome, whether it is, issuance of statement by Congress party, their leaders, or, the state government going ahead and, unilaterally announcing, or making such decisions or making such announcement, none of it is welcome. I don't think, they help the cause in any manner whatsoever.
I'm going to just get Meena Kandasamy in here. Sanjay, I'll come to you in just a moment. Meena, as a writer and activist yourself, I know you feel very strongly about the issue of the death penalty, as do many others. But what would you say to this decision today? Do you really believe that it is humanitarian politics, as Mr. Raja said? What about the other families there who lost loved ones that night as a result of this killing? What would you say to them?
Nidhi, in the beginning, I don't think we can, cheapen this by saying it's just, some kind of politics, because Jayalalithaa is being a law-abiding citizen. She's listening to what the Supreme Court has said. These people have been in prison for 23 years and they've lived in the shadow of the death penalty for 11 years. So, this is something you have to act quickly. You just cannot sit on the paperwork and, the bureaucracy and let them, just rot. So I think it was extremely commendable and heroic of her to have done this. And I think that we should stop getting, so rankled about the fact that, the persons who died on that day, on 21st May 1991, because nobody was convicted for the Batanitola massacre. Everyone walked away. Everyone walked away for the Lakshmanpur Bate. When it becomes, Dalit people or working class people, they die. Nobody is hanged, and we're not worried about that. We're not worried about what we say to them. But just because it's a high profile politician's death, a prime minister's death, we're getting so worked up. So I think we also need a little perspective, because at the heart of this, we are talking about human rights. We're also talking about an extreme 23-year struggle for justice. And also with people like Pera Rivalan, his mother is one of the, she's an epitome of struggle. She's been, proving her son's innocence. She's been in every single public meeting and she's gone to every single authority. So when you look at something like that, you really know what is one woman's, fight with the entire system, the criminal judicial system. So you have to look at it and respect it. And I think Jayalalithaa was only acting within the framework of the Supreme Court judgment, because the judgment clearly says that life sentence is imprisonment for life, but the government can, under section 432, release them if they want to, or and so it's totally, the onus was on the government, and she took the first step.